Okay, welcome back to another episode of Bravolebritea Daily. I'm your host, Giorgio from Giorgio Says. And before we get into today's topics, I just want to remind you, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and obviously like this video. It does help me as I'm new to YouTube and I'm still growing my account. The second thing I want to remind everyone is the giveaway ends tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you haven't entered, go over to my TikTok, Giorgio Says. I have the giveaway video pinned at the very top so you can find out how to enter. Okay, let's get into today's topics because obviously we need to talk about Real Housewives of New Jersey last night. A lot happened and there was a lot of debate. And I took to Instagram to see what everyone thought. I wanted to know, who do you think was responsible for the fight between Melissa and Jen last night? And a lot of you are kind of stuck in the middle. I posted on TikTok though today that I don't think anyone is innocent in this situation. I think they're both wrong for different reasons. However, I see what a lot of you are saying. I went back and I have rewatched the clip multiple times at this point. The only thing that throws me off, there are people that are saying, and quite honestly, guys, I think between yesterday and today, between Heather's DUI from Salt Lake City resurfacing, her DUI arrest, let me clarify, and this whole debacle between Jen and Melissa, I feel like I've upset a couple people because I think they really just strongly disagree. But I do think that Melissa should not have charged over to Jen. Like, I think a lot of people said that she was trying to leave. And so I went back and I was trying to see, like, okay, was she trying to leave or was she just trying to come make her point clear to Jen? And it went left. I don't see where she said that she's leaving. I think there's a lot of audio back and forth. And so I had to really listen hard, but it sounds like when Melissa's walking over and her hand is kind of like this, because she's trying to talk to Jen and let her know. I think some people hear Melissa saying, I'm trying to leave. But I think what she was saying is, I'm trying to, and I think Jen was saying, then leave. And I think that audio got kind of mixed up. Now, I'm not excusing Jen putting her hand on Melissa's wrist. But here's the thing, guys. I'm sorry. I don't care what I've done in the past, or I've said this or I've said that. The thing is, you're still responsible for your own actions. And that goes for Jen as well. Jen has done a lot of stuff, and I can see why Melissa was at her wit's end. But my point is, this didn't make either one look good. Now, was it good for the show? Absolutely. Was it entertaining to watch? Yes. But at the end of the day, if we're going to splice and dice this and try to figure out who was actually wrong, I'm going to say they're both wrong. But I do think Melissa overstepped by, I mean, whenever you enter someone's personal space, I think like all bets are off. You don't know what triggers other people. So my view on it is, I'm not siding with anyone here. I just wish they wouldn't have gone there because I just think it's so beneath them. But I definitely don't know where their relationship's going to go after this, honestly, because I think the other part to this is, if Jen and Melissa don't get along, it's going to cause a lot of rifts, because you have Teresa, who's close to Jen. That bothers Melissa because, Melissa wants Teresa to have her back because Teresa expects Melissa to have her back. So there's this weird dynamic of loyalty that constantly needs to be proven. And so I think Teresa staying behind, now, to be fair, she was staying at Jen's house. Now, I know that's not a reason, but it's not like Melissa is an angel and always has Teresa's back. So I think they both have their stuff. I think they both kind of mess with each other, if you will. And I do think some of it is just played up a little bit more for the show because I think they have their shtick and it works. And it's a formula that they're comfortable to go there. And they've clearly gone through a lot worse. So I think playing up on these little things like, oh, you didn't have my back, or I bet she's going to, not leave. And that's all par for the course. So I definitely, that's my view on the fight between Jen and Melissa. Now, there was obviously other things that went on during the episode, which was, we get Louis, who I guess is trying to explain the video, but the thing that bothered me about that whole situation was it was just an unnecessary, like, he was just being rude to Margaret. Like, I feel like Margaret's carrying the season on her back, because if we didn't have Margaret, then we wouldn't be having anything going on, because she's the one that brought up Bill's affair, right? And then she's the one that started talking about Louis's weird video, that warrior video that surfaced. The thing that really threw me off was when Louis was trying to explain the video, and he made it seem like it was not made it seem, he came out and said, it was basically a breakup video. But then instantly I was like, well, that's a flat out lie, because if you watch the video, he's not breaking up with his ex-girlfriend at the time. He was clearly like proposing and wanted to work things out. So it was very strange the way he tried to spin that. And the other thing that I don't get is, this was like a red flag for me, but when Teresa wouldn't let him talk, and he did the whole like, when I leave, she'll learn. Like, how will she learn if I don't leave? Like, that whole bit was weird to me, and it was a red flag, because the things we've been hearing about Louis, that statement and the way that he talked to Margaret alone, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I know it's still too early. We don't know him. It's clear Teresa's trying to protect him. A lot of people came to me and asked, what do you think was going on in the Sprinter van when Teresa and Louis were making their way to Jen's for Teresa's party, which she wasn't there to set up, but nonetheless. I don't think anything was going on. I think Teresa's overprotective, and she's so scared that he might do something, and then cameras will pick it up, and then editing will say, oh, we can play this into something weird, which they kind of did in the trailer. I think she was just trying to make him aware, like, hi, there are cameras in this van, so just be mindful, just letting him know. Because you could tell he probably didn't realize that there's cameras everywhere. Like, if you're in a van, you're not just in the van alone. There's a camera in there. So whatever you do could be used. Not that he was necessarily doing anything, could have just been texting on his phone. But even that, I'm sure Teresa's just very paranoid because she's so worried about all the stuff. And I'm sure she knows about all the stuff, but she probably doesn't want it to come out because she doesn't want everybody to spin it in this weird way. And, unfortunately, I know she thinks that he didn't sign up for this, but he did. Because they wouldn't be able to film him if he didn't sign something. So he did sign up for this. He knew he was coming on a huge platform. He knows he's dating a reality star. I don't see how you would even say something like that. Like, he didn't sign up for it. He absolutely signed up for this. So, if you're gonna sign up to be on a show like that, then you have to understand that you're going to be part of the mix one way or the other. So that's where, I don't know. I'm still like creeped out by the way he engaged Margaret and how he was just spinning the story about the video. But nonetheless, the other part of this episode that I thought was interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how Teresa handles this going forward, was when Tracy, it's like Tracy decided she was going to be a housewife last night and she was going to give it her go, because she, like, when they were sitting at Jen's house, they're all sitting like basically on opposite sides of the backyard patio, and Tracy leans over to Melissa and she's like, are we going to talk about Teresa leaving? or I think she said, like, are we going to talk about what happened? And Melissa was like, which part? Like, kind of like trying to get the conversation started or whatnot. And then it's like they were playing like hot potato. They're like, oh no, never mind. I'm not gonna, no, it's okay. I won't bring it up. And then finally Margaret was just like, you know what, Teresa, why did you leave Jen's house? And why did you like basically like threw it all out there? And like, that's why we love Margaret. She's pushing the storyline ahead. I mean, you don't have to like her. You don't have to like what any of them do, but collectively, they're making the show happen. But Margaret definitely is carrying the season on her back. And you know what? Usually the people that are the ones that bring up the stuff that actually push the storylines forward are the ones that get the most heat. So I'm not surprised, but I don't think it's, everyone's just doing their job. We have to remember this is a job. They're being paid to deliver storylines and to push them forward. And if someone's not talking about something, but it's out there in the internet, then you get fans that are like, well, why are you picking and choosing what you discuss? So now that she is, everyone's mad at her for being like, well, what? Margaret's just, trying to mess with Teresa's relationship and she's trying to mess with Jen's marriage. And it's two different things. I see that, but I do see that this is all for the purpose of filming the show. And if she didn't do those things, like I said earlier, we probably wouldn't have much going on. So yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think of last night's episode? If I had to rate it between 1 and 10, I would probably say I would say it was a good 8. There was a lot of stuff going on, which I enjoy. I always like an episode that's packed with different things. I always despise the episodes that were waiting for this one intense moment the entire time, and then we have to go through a bunch of filler scenes. So I was happy to see that there was other things happening in the episode, kept it meaty, kept me engaged. So, and I have to say, New Jersey's doing really well so far in my eyes. I think that they are hitting the mark, and they're delivering. So I'm pleased thus far. But obviously, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I definitely want to hear what you have to say. I know people on TikTok have their views. I'd be interested to see what the YouTube community has to say about the fight and thoughts on Tracy and her speaking up on Teresa and family. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot that happened. But the next topic I want to get into is, as I mentioned yesterday and the day before, Jen Shah, who originally was supposed to have her trial March 22nd, there was another hearing that was supposed to take place yesterday in which she was supposed to be in person for, and the hearing was taking place in New York. So Jen's lawyers put out a document basically asking to have her be excused since she lives in Utah, in which the judge then granted that motion, said that would be fine. So today we find out that now it's due to numerous issues, is what the report said. And it's basically now her new trial date has been set for July 11th, 2022. So what that means is production can probably feel a sigh of relief knowing that they have Jen for the remainder of season 3, because I think a lot of the reason why they wanted to quickly pick up cameras right after the reunion was taped is because they didn't want to miss a beat on anything that was happening with Jen Shah. So, but they were a little bit probably worried that if she did go to trial March 22nd, then she probably would be less and less available and they wouldn't be able to track that storyline. So now that her trial has been pushed back to July of 2022, that basically gives them the whole season to film. And I think Faces by Bravo kind of pointed this out in a funny way, but he's kind of right. If it works out this way, we might actually get her for even part of season 4 then, depending on how things roll out. So, I mean, talk about stretching a storyline. That would be stretching it. But so it'll be interesting to see how she carries on through this period now that she doesn't have that trial. But quite honestly, I thought about it, like I would I would, if I were her, I would be a lot more anxious having it be pushed out that far. I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit of a relief in some way, but it's like, it's the unknown. You know, you sometimes have you ever been in a situation where sometimes like, oh, I don't know, here's a good example. Like when your boss wants to meet with you and you set a time and then maybe 30 minutes before you're supposed to meet, they have to postpone it maybe a few days. And you're like, damn, I really wanted to know what that was going to be about. Now I'm all anxious. So that's how I would feel in this situation. Now, I'm glad I'm not in Jen's position, but also I can imagine that there's, yeah, I can see that there's probably a little bit of relief just because it's probably really crazy and scary to like have to sift through. And I can't imagine the finances aspect of it all, like the retainer and all the money that she's probably got to spend on legal and all that stuff. I just hope that I hope that in this next season she really kind of starts to at least shape herself into being more accountable for her behavior and things, which it's hard because I know she's done something allegedly horrible. But as far as we know, you know, and I know also a lot of people were asking in the comments, why isn't Bravo firing her? And then here's the thing, she hasn't been convicted of anything. And I don't think Bravo operates that way. I think they kind of they want to I don't I don't think that they want to exploit it to the point where it's dangerous for them. But at the same time, if it's not hit a point where they're not allowed to talk about it, then they'll pull back, which is why I mentioned like this is probably a good thing for production that Jen's not going to have her trial till July because it won't put any roadblocks in the way. They can actually kind of, you know, get her storyline in and she's not going to be interrupted and she'll be able to come to the like cast events and things like that. There won't be all this like scheduling conflicts because there's all these court dates. So we'll have to keep watching and see what happens. We do obviously have part 2 of the reunion that's coming up on Sunday. And then after that, we have part 3 and then it's done. So we'll have to see how long they film for. Usually they film for about 4 months, depending on what's going on. But generally, on average, it's 3.5 to 4 months because they film a lot. So it's like pretty much every day. I mean, maybe not full days every day, but there's definitely stuff going on. So I know they're well into season 3, and I'm interested in what that's going to be like because Baby Gorgeous posted yesterday, I think on TikTok. Gosh, I remember. I think, oh, it was like, it wasn't a tagline, but it was clearly like, it could be a tagline for next season for her. It said something like, I'm not a pot stirrer. Everyone knows I don't cook. So I was just like, oh, here we go. And, you know, the thing is, too, with Lisa Barlow, I think a lot of people are really like annoyed with her. And I think this goes back to like the Heather situation with the whole being arrested for the DUI. I think people look at Heather and I see what they're saying. She's a, you know, she seems like a good human being. But again, guys, we don't know all of the ladies that well. It's only been 2 seasons, and the first season was shorter than this last season. I mean, this last season, I think with the reunion episodes, we're going to get 24. That's a lot. So, you know, we're going to continue to get to know these ladies, and we always see a different side of them as they continue on this housewife journey because we're not always one way and we see them in different situations, and that's kind of where we start to see who they really are in certain situations. So I think with Heather, I think she's nice. I don't have anything against her, and no, I'm not holding the arrest for the DUI. Yes, I mean, it was 10 years ago. People make mistakes. This is not to crucify Heather. The point I was making was she could have owned that right then and there. But instead, she went so hard after Lisa. So honestly, I don't feel bad for her in that. If you're going to go after someone and they come back at you and then you deny something, well, yeah, on a technicality, because as people very aggressively pointed out on the TikTok I posted yesterday about it, well, technically, it's a reckless driving, so it's not a DUI. So that's why she said, look it up. Well, sure. On that technicality, yes, it ended up being a reckless driving charge. But initially, she was pulled over for driving under the influence. So, I mean, and like I said on TikTok, we're going to agree to disagree, and that's fine. I don't expect everyone to agree with my viewpoint, but it's just when people start getting into these technicalities to try to protect someone is where it gets a little odd for me. It's just like, it's, it is what it is, but whether you like Lisa Barlow or not, she's making for great TV. She's becoming a great housewife. She is a great housewife. And I see her going very far in this space. I do. She almost reminds me of if Kyle Richards and Lisa Rinna and maybe Tamra Judge had offspring, that would be Elisa Barlow. She has like those elements, she can engage everybody, but at the same time, she can stir the pot when she needs to. But I've never thought of her as taking something to a malicious point. I've never seen her try to like ruin someone's family over it. Now, if you're going to consider her rant as something that's vile and could ruin Meredith's relationship or the image of what her relationship is, I think that rant is something that it was in the heat of the moment. And I think, not to excuse it, I think that there's clearly some things going on there between those two that they didn't hash out through the last season. And to Meredith's point, she was in a space that she wasn't able to really be present and connect with certain individuals, but then she was there to have Mary's back. So I see all ends of it. It's not that cut and dry in my eyes. So I don't know. We'll have to keep watching. What else is going on? There was a blind item that came out today, another blind item. Shout out to Bravo Snark side on Instagram, though. They're super, super amazing. They always get all the blind items. Always. So thank you, Bravo Snark side. No, today's actually, let me read it to you guys because it's pretty lengthy. So the blind item says, it will not shock me if in 6 months, this former spouse of a former housewife, last seen very recently on a network reality show, is no longer with us. He borrowed money from some people who do not mess around if you don't pay them back. He thinks he can do what he always does and not pay people and move and start over. Nope. So there were some theories out there in the comments of this post in particular. And a lot of people were saying that they thought it was Peter, Cynthia's ex-husband. I could see that being a possibility for sure. I mean, I could see it being Peter, or I could also see it being Apollo, Phaedra's ex-husband. Could also see that. And I believe he was also on a reality show recently, I think. Maybe. Could be either one. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm open. I'm still trying to digest it. I'm trying to think who else. Didn't specify a region, so we don't know that. I don't know if it's East Coast, West Coast. So yeah, let me know in the comments though what you think, who you think it could be, because it's quite. I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to think some of these blind items are getting very dark. Like this one was like messing with the wrong people. You better pay them the money or he's not going to be around. Like it's just like what is happening? But yeah, no, all good stuff. I really did enjoy last night's New Jersey episode. I also want to remind you guys that tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, my interview with Marisol Patton from Real Housewives of Miami will go live. I'm super excited that I got the chance to talk with her. She was absolutely amazing, and she is a doll. She's a joy. She's everything that she is on the show. She's truly authentic, and she spilled some tea about something that comes out in the reunion, and it was pretty shocking. Now, she couldn't give me a lot of detail, obviously, because, you know, the reunion hasn't come out yet. It actually comes out tomorrow. And so I'll definitely be tuning in. So don't forget tomorrow, hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. It'll be up at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit like. Don't forget to share this video. Don't forget to comment. Do all those things. It really does help me in the algorithm here. As I mentioned time and time again, I will continue to mention it. I am still new here, so I need every bit of help, and I appreciate it as always. And until tomorrow, guys, I will talk to you then. Have a good night.